we have discussed a lot of things in previous video. So now we are going to briefly discuss venous channels or venous drainage, and then we discuss internal structures. So regarding venous drainage, this is incremental butterfly shape, and then this is spinal cord of white matter. It is anterior, it is posterior. So when we look in this image, like here is posterior dorsal vein, ventral or nerve root, and in the posterior side, in between in this posterior medial longitudinal, there is a venous canal. This is called posterior medial median venous canal, longitudinal venous canal, longitudinal venous canal. There is another venous canal beside this root. It is called posterolateral longitudinal venous canal. And it's the root of ventral side. There is another. It is known as anterolateral venous canal. Lateral venous canal. And then in the interior side, there is anteromedian. This is anteromedian longitudinal venous canal. And also in the roots of the anterior ventral root, there is also anteronerve root. This is anteronerve root. This is ventral nerve root or antero and dorsal posterior nerve root. This is also anterolateral venous canal. So there is six venous canal, longitudinal venous canal, 3 anterior, 3 posterior. When we look their drainage, so these channels are interconnected by a plexus of vein known as venous vasocorona, and there is radicular vein from radicular vein is drained into epidural or internal vertebral venous plexus, and then this vein drain into segmental veins like vertebral vein, posterior intercostal vein, posterior intercostal vein. Then there is lumbar vein, Then lateral sacral vein, lateral sacral vein. This is regarding venous drainage. So now we are moving on the internal structure. Internal structure of the spinal cord. Moving on. Internal structure of a spinal cord. In this internal structure, we deal with the gray matter and white matter. Gray matter and white matter. Gray matter and white matter. White matter. When we look in this image, this butterfly shaped is the gray matter, and this beside this area are white matter. White matter. This is gray matter. Gray matter, it is like nuclei, and or this is due to the axons, and highly myelinated. Due to the highly myelination, this look like the white, and this is due to the nuclei or dendrites. It's look like gray. So focus on in gray matter. It is H-shaped column, and it extends through the length of the length of the through the length of the spinal cord. Like when we draw its downward and upward, in whole there is H-shaped vertebra exist. Whole vertebra, whole spinal cord. This is spinal cord, and when we draw, here is H-shaped. So this H-shaped found in whole, like it's in theater. This is the cord section. When we look, there is H-shaped gray matter extend through out the length. And it's divided into the symmetrical left and right and coma shaped mast, coma shaped masses that are transverse gray commissure, like and it is right half symmetrically right and left. When it's divided left, in between there is a left and right and left symmetrically half, and it's look coma shaped. Like when we look, it's a coma shaped. Moving on, posterior horn. There is a posterior horn, anterior horn, and lateral horn. When we look, I am drawing another image. This is spinal cord, and here is butterfly shaped. This is posterior horn. This is lateral horn, and this is anterior horn. But this lateral horn not present in like throughout the length. It's present in the some regions, like lateral horn present only in the thoracic region, like T1 to L2, and lumbar region segment. And there is central canal. There is a central canal in between them. Like when we look in this, there is between central canal. Here is a central canal. Now moving on, white matter. Regarding white matter, there is a posterior, there is some column, like posterior white column, posterior white column. There is lateral white column and anterior white column, lateral white column and anterior white column, anterior white column. This is between, like when you look in this image, or easy to understand in this image, this is whole. I'm going to colorful. This is posterior, this is lateral, and this is anterior white column. Understand? And like when we look the situation where it is situated, so posterior, it is posterior median septum, and in between the posterior median, this is posterior median septum, and from this to the posterior horn, this is a posterior horn. In between them, these are the posterior white column, posterior white column. In between anterior and the posterior horn, in between, this is posterior, this is anterior. In between posterior and anterior, there is lateral. And when we look the anterior, in between the, this is anterior median fissure, anterior median fissure. In between anterior median fissure and the anterior horn, there is anterior white column, Hope it's clear. Now moving on, the nuclei and the gray matter, like where there is some enlargement. So moving on, group of the cell in the like gray column, easy to understand in this image. Okay, first I draw and then I can make clear in the above image. This is when we are going to discuss regarding this is a rough diagram of vertebra, spinal cord, and this is posterior horn, this is anterior horn, and this is lateral horn. Throughout the anterior horn, in the anterior horn, there is some nuclei arranged in this manner: medial, median, intermediate, and lateral. These are anterior group. This is lateral lateral group of nucleus. This is intermediate or central. This is central, sorry, this is central group, central, and this one is medial group. It is in the anterior. Then there is intermediate group in the lateral arm. There is intermediate or nucleus. This is intermediate. One is divided to one is intermedio lateral. What is intermedio medial group or nucleus. Now we are moving on the posterior. In the posterior, this nuclei is known as substantia gelatinosa. After that, there is another group of this is nucleus. This nucleus is called nucleus proprius. Then after that, there is two nucleus. It's situated in median. These two are, one is this nucleus is nucleus dorsalis in dorsal side. Nucleus, this is dorsal side. This is in dorsal side. So nucleus dorsalis and nucleus dorsalis, and in this is the ventral side. So nucleus afferent ventralis, visceral afferent nucleus. These are the posterior group of the nucleus. So when we draw color, posterior group, posterior. These are lateral. Intermediate. These are intermediate group of column. And when these are the lateral group, interior group. I am changing, forget to change the color, sorry. These are the interior group of the nucleus. Moving on the lateral horn. When we look in this image, there is a posterior margin nucleus. We forgot to mention in this that image. After that, substantia gelatinosa, then nucleus proprius, and here is not given like nucleus. Here is a Clark nucleus, and there is also a visceral nucleus. So this is the Clark nucleus, not given in this image, visceral nucleus. So, and then there is the intermediate lateral nucleus. Then after that, the intermediate medial nucleus. Here is a ventromedial nucleus, SR nucleus, central cell column, dorsal cell column. I think it is not that much clear what we need. This is appropriate image, so we do not need more than that. Now moving on. Moving on, these nucleus and their functions. I think it needs to draw, not again drawing, using this image and make a better understanding with the function. Now moving on the function, like which nucleus what the function. So moving on from the posterior, sorry, from the anterior, we need to start from the anterior. In the anterior there is nuclei like medial group, central group and lateral group. So medial motor cell, this medial motor, it's present in the entire cord, and it supply function, supply muscle of neck and trunk, trunk, and after that lateral motor cell. This is a lateral motor cell. It's for C4 to T1 and L2 to the S3. Its this function is the supply muscle of extremities, supply muscles of extremities. It supplies like muscle of the extremities, and then there is a like central group, and it's like there is phrenic nucleus, and another one is the spinal accessory nucleus. So phrenic nucleus, there is in posterior, sorry, in anterior there is phrenic nucleus which present in C3 to C5, and this is a motor innervation of diaphragm. Then there is another spinal accessory nucleus, which present in C1 to C5, and this originate, there is origin of a spinal root of the accessory nerve, spinal root of accessory nerve, spinal root. Now moving on the lateral horn. In the lateral horn there is intermediolateral cell column. It's present, extend from T1 to S2 or L3, sorry, L2 to S3, and here function is like it is source of preganglionic sympathetic fibers like thoracolumbar outflow, thoracolumbar outflow. Then there is sacral parasympathetic nucleus which present in, it is a lateral horn. So there is sacral parasympathetic nucleus. It is present in S2 to S4, and their function is preganglionic fiber, source of preganglionic fiber, ganglionic parasympathetic fibers like sacral outflow. These are regarding anterior and lateral. Now we are moving in posterior. In the posterior there is substania gelatinosa. Substania entire cord, and its function is relay nucleus for pain and temperature and modification. It's done modification of transmission of sensory input, transmission of sensory input like these nerves like coming inside and giving giving of fibers for this nucleus, and this nucleus have for pain, temperature, and also it's modified there is how type of the sensory input is coming, transmission of the sensory input. Regarding nucleus dorsalis, this is nucleus dorsalis and it's found in A2, L2 or L3, and here its function is like give origin of action from the posterior spinocerebellar tract, origin to action which form posterior spinocerebellar tract. Now moving on, nucleus proprius. This is nucleus proprius. Regarding this nucleus, entire cord is found in entire cord, and this nucleus have contain internuncial neurons for spinal reflex and second order neuron of ventral spinothalamic tract. We further discuss in coming video. There is regarding tracts. So this nucleus, like there is the second order neuron for the tract. Like when sensory input coming, sensory nerve come and give this proprius, this sensory nerve gives this nucleus and go upward. So this after that there is a forming of second order of the nerve, second order of the neuron and axons. This and from this nucleus to the going in the spinal. This is a spine to the going in the thalamic region, thalamus. So it's known as a spinothalamic tract. And after that there is a one visceral afferent nucleus. This is the visceral afferent nucleus. And regarding this, it is found in T1 to L2 or L3 and S2 to S4, and its function is like relay nucleus. It is a relay nucleus for visceral afferent impulse. Visceral afferent impulses. This is all regarding this nucleus and their function and their location. So in coming video we discuss regarding the tract of spinal cord, tract of spinal cords. There is there is ascending and descending tracts, ascending and descending tracts. So we discuss more in this video, like sensory, on coming video, sensory and motor, regarding these things.